Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bittner and Ash Paulson to discuss all the latest news of Mario Party 10. So let's get started. Alright guys, so it's been a little while since we talked about Mario Party 10, for good reasons, I don't really care that much, but spoilers! But there was a whole footage, we got some recent footage in the Direct which revealed a little bit more about the game. And then there's some screenshots too that came out, as well as full artwork of the several boards in the game as well. So I thought it'd be, thought it'd be interesting to finally revisit this game and talk about what all we've learned. So from the Direct, we know that there are going to be 3 main modes in the game, being Mario Party, Bowser Party, and Amiibo Party. And from what we can tell, Mario Party is basically just Mario Party 9. Everyone rides in a cart together around the board. One person's a captain. They control everything that happens on that turn, and then after they decide, control goes to the next person. So you're working, you're in the same boat, but you're still working against each other, trying to get the most stars. Bowser Party is what looks to me to be the most interesting mode, where it's 5 players, or up to 5 players. One person's Bowser, and they're trying to take down everyone else before they get to the end, it looks like. And then with Amiibo Party, it looks to be basically old school Mario Party, where the goal is to collect the most stars, but it seems to be taking place on some pretty standard looking boards. So, I guess let's start off with your guys' thoughts on all this. What did you think about everything we've seen of this game so far?
I haven't played a Mario Party in a very long time. I think the last one I did was like 4 or 5. And I want to get back into the series so much because it is such a fun game. And the parties, the mini games can be interesting and fun, and it can be just a good time. But I saw the changes made for Mario Party 9, and I'm just like, this doesn't sound fun. The mini games just don't come up that often, and I just decided to skip it. So I'm hoping at very least that they found a way to make the mini games happen more often in just regular Mario Party. Bowser Party itself looks like it could be a lot of fun because it has that whole 4 versus 1 element that could make it very interesting. And it'll just play different from anything else as well. So that alone makes it a lot more interesting than anything else we've seen. Amiibo Party, I'm still not sold on, just because the boards look so standard and so dull when you kind of compare. And yes, you got the Amiibo stuff and you got some different stuff that happens for each character, but it's still just, I don't know. Nothing's clicking with me, even though the game itself, looking at the screenshots here, this game looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks good.
But it's just not clicking with me, and I can't really put my finger on why. It just doesn't. Nothing's appealing to me, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, Mario Party is a very inconsistent series. There are some entries that are incredibly fun. I feel the series has kind of lost its way in recent entries. 7 and 8 were both terrible. I was actually able to have a little fun with 9. My fiance and I really enjoyed playing it together. And I'm not super crazy about the mini-stars concept and the traveling together thing. I do kind of prefer classic Mario Party in that sense, but I'm willing to give it another shot if they're able to maybe balance the mini-game frequency a little better, because you were right, Derek. Mario Party 9, the mini-games didn't come up nearly as often as I felt they should. So I'm hoping that they kind of restore that balance for Mario Party 10. In terms of what I'm looking forward to the most about it, it's easily Bowser Party. I'm a huge fan of asymmetrical multiplayer when it's done at all, let alone done right.
Both times.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically just been Nintendo Land and Game & Wario. Yep. And in both cases, it's really fun, and it's a really great, it's a crowd pleaser. It's really fun for parties. So Bowser Party seems to be kind of, where all the asymmetrical multiplayer in Mario Party 10 is going. And I really like the idea that there's one mini game for Bowser Party we've seen footage of where one player as Bowser is trying to breathe fire on the other players, and of course the Bowser player has the gamepad, and the gamepad screen you see Bowser's point of view, whereas on the TV you play as a character trying to avoid Bowser. And I really like that idea. I love stuff like that, and to me that looks easily like the most promising mode in Mario Party 10. I'm in total agreement with you, Derek, about Amiibo Party mode. I love classic Mario Party, and I like the idea of it returning, but these boards just look so boring. They're so basic and have so little imagination, which actually runs completely counter to the boards that we've seen for the regular Mario Party mode, which really, honestly, they look like some of the most inspired, creative board designs the series has seen in a long time. I'm really impressed by the... I've kind of glossed over a lot of the Mario Party 10 news because the last few entries have been somewhat disappointing, but looking at the artwork for the boards in Mario Party 10, I'm actually a little excited that they're kind of getting some creative spark back in these boards.
It is a bit weird of a juxtaposition, right? Like, the boards in Mario Party and Bowser Party do look really good. Like, they look visually fun. And I will say, too, actually, Mario Party 9 had looked pretty good as well from a board perspective.
Yeah.
But it didn't play that well for me. I mean, let me be completely clear here. I did have fun with the game. It just wasn't nearly as much fun as I used to have with Mario Party.
Right.
So yeah, the boards here do look good. But then you have... the Amiibo Party boards, which, from a gameplay perspective, appeal to me more because it does seem to be closer in style to the original Mario Parties. But the boards just look so dull. Like, they are all like the exact same layout, only with a few gimmicks exclusive to that character. And that's it. And based on what we saw in the footage, like, it looks like there's very little room for interaction. Like, it's Monopoly, right? You're just going around the board in the same direction. There's nowhere to branch off. It seems like choice is almost a non-factor here, whereas it historically has been in Mario Party. I don't know. It's weird. It's a little bit weird what they're doing here.
I like the visual style of Amiibo Party. It's kind of interesting to see. It's pretty much is an actual board game because you got all these little stands set up, and they're all like you're actually using like the amiibos as if you were doing a party game. But I don't know. It's like even. I'm trying to... Most other board games are not just a standard square. I mean, you mentioned Monopoly, and you're going around in a standard square, but stuff can happen that you can end up like you could go to jail or something different can happen. But we've seen a couple of times here where they're rolling multiple die and they get these huge rolls, and like you could go around the board twice almost with some of those size rolls they're doing. So I'm like, I need to play it because just looking at it visually, it's just not... I'm not quite seeing how it's fun and different because, again, the boards are just so dull. But as Ash said, the board designs for everything else look great. I mean, they got this theme park where you start at Peach's castle and you go around all the blocks in the background. You got the rolling hills from Super Mario World, and the actual rides look really cool. I love this cloud level with all the airships. And they got this underwater trench area, this haunted area. There's so many good board designs. So I really want to like this game, but nothing about it, as far as the actual board game itself, is clicking with me. And I think the big hope there is going to be Bowser Party, as far as changing things up and making them feel fun and different.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why the boards do look so good is because they are structuring them in basically... Like, each one's basically like a mini story mode now, or like an actual level, if you will, where there's boss fights along the way, and you go through these boards in a relatively linear fashion. Whereas past Mario Parties, ignoring 9, they were more like board games, and you traveled around a physical space, on a loop. So yeah, I mean, I think that's partially why they do look awesome, man. You have the castle, like the halfway point where you fight a boss. They do all look really good. But as I mentioned before, like my biggest hesitation with the main Mario Party mode is the fact that it is structured after Mario Party 9, which, just wasn't that fun to me because you only controlled what happened a quarter of the time, which just really just made it feel like super random. Like Mario Party's always been, there's always been a lot of random elements to Mario Party. Like, it's been pretty chaotic, but I always felt like there was just like enough skill there, like enough strategy involved that, it felt like you had influence on it. Whereas in Mario Party 9, it felt like that just went completely out the window. And that's why I don't really care about it here. But, as Ash touched on, the Bowser Party, that seems to be much less of an issue. Because you actually are working as a team this time, if you're in the cart at least. And so you actually can work together to go against, to try and take on Bowser. And I'll be straight up, I want to be playing as Bowser the whole time. That's all I care about.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Right?
I can see that, yeah.
I'm all about, trolling everyone whenever I can.
Yeah.
And some of my favorite games in past Mario Parties were the 1 versus 3 games.
Right.
Which are similar to the Bowser minigames we've already seen. So building a whole mode around that just seems like such a really neat idea.
There is a concern with Bowser Party for me, though, is the fact that it's a heart-based system. So all the other the four characters working together each have a set of hearts, and how well they do in the mini games determines how many hearts they have. And we've seen like hints of being able to regain hearts as you play through. But I'm wondering if that can revive players as well, because what if you just have a mini game that you're just not that great at, and you end up losing all your hearts, and it's towards the beginning? Are you just that one player just sort of sitting to the side now, waiting for everybody else to finish? That's I hope they're accounting for that, and I hope they've found a way so that everybody has a way to keep playing when it's that type of mode. Otherwise, I agree with you. It looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought of that, Derek. That's actually a good point, and I could see that being a potential problem if they don't have an idea in place for someone who's knocked out early, because you have to take differing skill levels into account too. I mean, what if you're playing Bowser Party and one person on the 4-player team is just that doesn't play video games and doesn't really know what they're doing, and it's not going to be a whole lot of fun for them if they're knocked out on the first couple of turns and then don't get to do anything for the rest of the game. So I could see that being a potential roadblock, but I mean, knowing Nintendo and how accepting they are of all different skill levels and how they want to pander to everyone, I would not be surprised if they have some sort of plan in place for that.
Yeah, I hope so. Now, one thing about Bowser Mode is it does seem to be designed with 5 players. Now, presumably, you'll be able, fill in any vacant spots with CPUs like you have been with past Mario Parties. But it does raise a question of, is this going to be online? And I don't think they've commented one way or the other yet, right?
No, but no. I mean, all you really need to do is,
that they haven't commented that it won't be online.
and consider the fact this is Nintendo. Do we really think this is going to be online?
No. I mean, I don't think it will be either at all.
Yeah.
But it kind of, I kind of wish it were, right? Like, especially, with, getting, people our age, it's hard enough getting 4 people involved with a game.
Yeah.
Getting 5 is even that much tougher. I would love to be able to hop on to a game with, like, playing against you guys online. That would be really cool. And I don't think they're going to do it here, but I feel like this would be a great chance to.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's something that Mario Party really needs to do at some point, because I know they're so worried that it's supposed to be a local multiplayer game. You must be with your friends and interacting that way. But if they give us decent voice chat and just give us online and just keep it the way, I think there could be a lot of fun to be had here.
I guess another question, though, is what do you think about Nintendo basically locking, as far as we know, an entire mode or aspects of that mode behind Amiibo? Like, as far as we know, you need to have an Amiibo to play any of those boards, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Which is unusual. And that might be why, actually, they look kind of bland, because it looks like Nintendo didn't put too much attention into each one. It's, it's like, we may not get, money directly from people through this, so why bother investing too much money in developing this?
What I'm kind of curious about is that when I happen to be looking at the a compatibility list for all the Amiibo, just to see what was coming out and what was be playable, be usable. And it looks like every single Amiibo that comes out is going to be compatible with Mario Party, just in varying degrees. But we don't know what those varying degrees are. So is it possible that you can unlock the mode with just like I only have Fox, Kirby, and Samus. Could I unlock one of these Amiibo mode with just using one of them, or do they unlock something else in the game? It's hard to say, really.
Yeah, I don't think they've said anything about that yet.
No. I mean, well, they did show off, as Derek mentioned, the compatibility list, but that's it.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know, like, could there be, like, a generic board that you can unlock with any Amiibo and play on that, at least, or...
I don't know. It could be. Maybe it's random which one you unlock, or... If I had to guess, though, it's probably going to do with that whole fact that you can attach different skills to your Amiibos. So maybe you unlock those skills by scanning your Amiibo daily, and that's how you unlock those, or maybe unlock them as you play through. There's a lot of different things they could do for it, but it seems odd to unlock away an entire mode behind the Amiibo.
Yeah, like one that's so prominent too, like it's 1/3 of the main menu.
So if you don't have an Amiibo, or a specific Amiibo for this, you're sort of screwed, and you got this blank space looking at you the entire time, and it's just odd.
Yeah, although, I mean, as we've already touched on, it doesn't really look like so far that you're missing out on much. I mean, it really does look incredibly bland.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, like the only mode that appeals to me is Bowser Party. Like that looks like that may actually save this game, because Mario Party does seem to be just like Mario Party 9. I don't care. And Amiibo Party, yeah, the boards just look really bland. So Bowser Party could be where it's at. And it has been Nintendo's focus a lot of this time. Like everything that showed off, or most everything that showed off at E3 was from Bowser Party. That could be what it's going to be about this time. Alright, well, do you guys have any final thoughts about anything we haven't touched on yet? Like any thoughts on the minigames at all, or anything else you wanted to bring up that we haven't mentioned yet?
We were talking briefly before we recorded about how Spike appears to be a new playable character, which is kind of a random choice. I mean, Spike's pretty cool because he vomits up, spike balls, which is, I mean, that's a pretty cool power to have, but it's just a strange, what a random enemy to, add as a playable character to Mario Party.
Well, you're basing that on the official artwork that came out, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not confirmed, but it seems to be a possibility that he's playable.
He has that same kind of artwork around him as all the other characters do, and they did confirm that Toadette isn't as well is a playable character. So all signs point to Spike being playable as well. And I agree with Ash. He's so random. Like I looked at him and I'm like, I know this little guy, but he's never been that prevalent of an enemy in the games. I don't think, at least. Maybe in the Captain Toad he showed up a good bit, but not in regular Mario games. He'd show up a couple levels, he'd be annoying, and then you kind of forget about him. But
yeah,
nope, he gets a starring role now.
Yeah, well, not just that too, but Donkey Kong's actually going to be playable again for the first time in years. For whatever reason, they stopped making him a playable character. So,
yeah, which was really strange.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens here. It could be a fun game. Bowser mode does look appealing, and it actually does make use of the gamepad, so I'll give it that.
Yeah. And I will say the few mini games that we have seen do look like a lot of fun. I really like that one two-player mode, or 2-on-2 mini game where you're across from each other and you got to butt stomp across the same length in order to get the amounts coins. That's a really clever mode where you got to really talk to each other and figure things out and do it together. And the mini games do look like a lot of fun and have a lot of potential. I just hope we actually get to play them if we play
Right.
Mario Party.
That's kind of it. Yeah, the games look fine. I thought they were actually good in Mario Party 9 as well, but the problem was you didn't play them that often.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully they will rectify that this time. Because I mean, for me, like Mario Party has always been a combination of the board games and the mini games, and that's a balance that the series has kind of lost over the years. So they can find a good way to contextualize those mini games within the board game. That will be great. And I'm not sure they're going to do it this time, but here's hoping.
I think I speak for everyone when I say that I think Mario Party 10 needs to finally bring back Tug of War from Mario Party 1, so we can start, getting blisters in our hands and buying or being handed out Mario Party gloves.
Yeah.
So I still can't believe that happened when I look back on it, but it did.
Oh my god. Those games are so horrible to go back to. Like, I mean,
know.
I love going back to Mario Party 1 and 2, but the rotating the control stick with the first one is just brutal. Jesus.
Yeah. What I find just really weird to even think about is just the fact that, Mario Party 10, most series end way before that, and if they don't, they start adopting some other naming scheme, like Mario Party kind of has, like Island Tour or Advance,
Right.
but they've actually made it to Mario Party 10. How did that happen, really?
Because they released one every freaking year for a while.
It's just so weird when you think about that they've actually reached 10 games for this series.
It is nuts. And there's like a huge group of there, like in the middle, that just blur together for me. Like, I cannot tell you what 4 to 7 are. I have no idea.
That's actually kind of weird, because I would agree, except 6 is actually my clear favorite in the series, which is strange because it is in that kind of that middle blur of Mario Party games, but for some reason 6 always stood out to me as being really fun.
Huh. I did miss a couple in there, so that could have been one of the ones I missed.
Right.
I know 4 and 5 I did not like at all.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But for me, the ones I've played, like Mario Party 2, is still
Sure.
my favorite, followed by Mario Party 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll have to try 6 sometimes. Maybe we'll have to do a Game & Watch when we get back together at some point.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Alright, well, I think that wraps up for us here, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date on everything we post, and of course keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more Mario Party 10, hopefully good news, and other things gaming as well. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.